Got to keep warm there.
Yeah.
Welcome to this Christmas holiday edition of Second City Sports. We're live and in living color right here on Sports Zone Chicago, along with Miss McKenna McGee, which is she. I am Sydney Brown. Hey, that's me. You can follow yours truly on the Twitter and the IG at SidKid80. Once again, it's SidKid80. That's SIDKID80. That's SIDKID80.
You can follow me at Keita McGee on the Twitter and at Keita McGee on the IG.
Make sure you download that Sports Zone Chicago app. You ever get your apps, you want to know why? Because we said so, that's why. And also, so you can get our other live shows throughout the week. So, if you miss them, you can go back and watch them and listen to them at your own leisure, especially during this time of year since it's so damn cold out. You can make sure you download that Sports Zone Chicago app today. Speaking of Sports Zone Chicago, you can follow us on all social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Please find Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. If you want to download our podcast, Second City Sports, you can do so by subscribing to War on Anchor. We are available on all podcast platforms, including the iHeartRadio app. Just type this in your search engine boxes on those podcast platforms. You ready? WARR on Anchor. Once again, at War on Anchor on all podcast platforms. And give War Media a follow on all social media platforms at WARR Media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. One more again, as the kids would say, at War Media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And thank you very much in advance for your support.
Like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends.
And we are unapologetically fun, and we have very definite opinions. If you have any definite opinions during our 2-hour extravaganza we call a Sports Talk Radio Show, you can always hit us up in the comment section at Sports Zone Chicago's Facebook page or Sports Zone Chicago on YouTube. Type in your questions or comments in the comments section. Lakina will get them up on the screen for you. But if you decide to troll and or do something stupid or just play flat up, try to plan a stupid joke, I've given Lakina full power to give you fools the holiday version of the BLA being boot.
Bye-bye.
I love when she says that. But before we begin, we must remind you that you can also catch Sports Zone Chicago now available on Roku TV. That's right. Celebrate the squad and get with the program. Sports Zone Chicago is now available on Roku TV. If you already have a Roku television, just tap on the sports folder and download Sports Zone Chicago through that avenue. If you don't have a Roku TV, we know you have a bunch of handheld devices laying around, iPad, iTouch, iPhone, your personal PC, or your Chromebook like I'm using right now. Just hit up the App Store and download the Roku TV app and access Sports Zone Chicago through that avenue. So no more excuses. Celebrate with the squad and get with the program. Sports Zone Chicago is now available on Roku TV 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, live and on demand. And please access us during this time, especially during the holiday season. We know Christmas is just around the corner. We know it's cold as you know what outside. So catch up on all your Sports Zone Chicago favorites, including us here at Second City Sports, Sean and Maya in the morning, the Smoke Fellas, and Eric Kramer's appearances on Sean and Maya in the morning throughout the Bears season. You can go back and rewatch those. So we have all you need. So Sports Zone Chicago is now available on Roku TV.
All right. So let's get right to it. We got a busy show ahead, so let's get right to it to talk some Bulls and NBA. Now, it's been a busy week for the Bulls. I wish we had the highlight of that buzzer beater by Io from that Wednesday win against Atlanta. It's been kind of up and down, I guess, week for the Bulls. There was an article that came out with Sean Sharna and Darnell Mayberry, both from The Athletic, who I guess there was some infighting after that Minnesota debacle and everything else that happened to transpire. They had trade rumors involving DeMar and, Zach, they're not getting along and blah, 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 and yada, yada. Well, I guess that might have woke them up because they not only won against the Heat. Yes, I know they didn't have Kyle Lowry, nor did they have Jimmy Butler and a couple of others, but you did what you're supposed to do against a team that are shorthanded. Then of course, the great buzzer beater by Io against Atlanta. They play the Knicks tonight again. Like, oh great! I don't know how NBA does it with
Sorry up.
I know.
We'll get to tips in a moment, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know how or why that they have these kinds of schedules. Everybody's going through this type of schedule, but it's crazy. But yeah, what do you think about the Bulls this week, Sid?
I would hop on the bandwagon and say that the Bulls are back, but I got to see more. Like you said, the Miami game on Tuesday, it was a great win. They played full 48 minutes. No, you didn't have Jimmy Butler. No, they didn't have any. They didn't have Kyle Lowry either. Bam Adebayo dominated the Bulls just about again. The Bulls played a full 48 this time. They paid attention to detail on defense. They shared the ball more on offense. We talked about this the last couple of weeks, Lakina. They average about around 25 assists or more as a team of the last 7 to 8 games, and that continued on Tuesday. And you saw it again on Wednesday in their win against Atlanta. So the Bulls shared the ball, paid attention to detail. They were more aggressive on defense, including Zach LaVine. And so, like you said, if you need a halftime fight in the locker room, some yelling and screaming to get these guys going, so be it. But as players, you need to hold each other accountable. It's only so much a coaching staff can do. It's all up to the players to execute the game plan at the end of the day. That's what this business is about, and you have to win ball games. Now, the game on Wednesday against Atlanta, remember a couple of weeks ago, Lakina, when Atlanta beat the Bulls let Trae Young go off in that second half in overtime, scoring 15 of his 19 points. He did get off, talking about Mr. Young on Wednesday, but they shut the other guys down. We'll get through the box score in just a moment, but it was another total team effort by the Bulls. You thought they were going to give up in the last few minutes of the game, but they buckled down. They made the plays they had to make, and like you said, credit to Ayo Dosunmu for grabbing that offensive rebound, because they could have let DeMar DeRozan's missed shot just lay on the wayside and play for overtime. No, Dosunmu had the presence of mind to get the offensive rebound and put it back up for the win. I don't know about you, but did you feel sorry for John Collins getting the bottom of that celebration pile? Ow, my leg! Ow!
I know. Yeah, I know. I don't think anybody saw that, but yeah, I mean, he was kind of like over because he was by Ayo as he was jumped up, and got the rebound and the tip in. But look, I think this is the kind of one that can jumpstart the Bulls. Now, well, can they keep it up? They got the Knicks tonight. I know they're going to be shorthanded. I know that Derrick Jones Jr. is out. Caruso, who suffered an elbow injury, I think he hit his head too, I guess from an elbow, and now he's in concussion protocol. He's going to be out as well, so the Bulls will be a little bit shorthanded. The Knicks are probably going to be in a very good mood after they got their 8-game winning streak snap. We'll get to that after the break, but I mean, this is like a nice way to kind of like look. Hopefully, so Zach's shooting the ball better. The defense has been a little bit better with the Bulls. Vucevic's been playing very well. He had 20 and 7. DeRozan, did his thing. Kobe had 10 points off defensively, a couple of key steals. So, hopefully this will start the Bulls. I mean, look, all of this stuff about, DeRozan wants to trade, he and Zach to get along, blah, blah, blah. For me, for one thing, this is all just, secondhand information. So this is from, they think, rival execs think and all that stuff. This is not, for all they know, that could have heard this from like someone's, PR person or from like a janitor who works for one of the teams. So I'm not.
Hey, team janitors are people too.
Look, I'm not saying they're not. Cause I had one of my cousins was one for years, but I mean, it's just like it tells you all you know about these rumors. I mean, these are just for clicks and such, and views or whatever. So I don't pay real attention to them. And if they were to trade tomorrow, they can't do it, until after the off season. So till the off season, I should say. So like any of this stuff is just moot at this point of the thing. But yeah, I mean, look, if this team was 18 and 13 instead of 13 and 18, this whole thing wouldn't be an issue. But the fact that it is, everyone's got their own little experts to say, oh well, they should blow it up and blah blah blah. I mean, no, just stop it. Just let the season play out. We're not even halfway through this season. We're about a little over a third through the season. I think people need to just chill and just let the thing play out.
You're listening to Second City Sports, the hashtag Football Friday edition, the special holiday edition of Second City Sports, right here on Sports on Chicago. We're live in Living Color. Sid Lakina here with you, talking Bulls. We'll get to the rest of the NBA after the bottom of the hour break. Lakina, I want to ask you a question about a couple of players that's been key to this mini 2-game winning streak for the Bulls. One, Patrick Williams, he's been aggressive offensively. You saw that on Wednesday night. He had 11 points and 8 rebounds in 37 minutes of action. He's still in the starting lineup. We know Javonte Green's been out the last several games due to various injuries. But I enjoy Drummond, who hasn't gotten any tick, as the kids would say, these last couple of weeks. He came off the bench on Wednesday and grabbed 11 rebounds. Do you think Billy Donovan is starting to find some more minutes for him coming off the bench? Remember, he made an impact to start the season, Andre Drummond, but I know he was dealing with injuries here and there early in the season, but the last couple of weeks hasn't gotten that much time on the court, but he made his presence felt coming off the bench on Wednesday, as I mentioned, with 11 rebounds.
They had, 2 of those were defensive rebounds. So I think that's been the key for the Bulls and such, that being aggressive after missed shots by the other team. And I know that P will also have 7 defensive rebounds as well. So I think that's been kind of been the problem for the Bulls, is that getting those rebounds, not letting the other boxing out, not letting the other team get those rebounds after they miss their shots. So I think they've been better with that. Hopefully they can, do a little bit more, with consistency. That's kind of been the thing with the Bulls this year. The defense has been a lot better. So I think, man, look, if it took, someone looking at information about, dysfunction or discourse, I mean, still sometimes that helps. So I'm not gonna knock it. Well, that part of it anyway. So yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, look, I know a lot of people want to see more. There's still 5 games under 500, but the schedule kind of sets up for them to kind of go on a little bit of a run. So, I think people should just kind of just let the season play out instead of making your these play with your trade machines, if you will. So I think people need to just just chill and just let this part of the season play out at least.
Patrick Williams for me has been a very good player this year, defensively, offensively. I so like to see him be a little bit more aggressive. I know he's starting to improve his outside shot, especially from the 3. I'm not saying he should be your third scorer on the team. You have Zach, you have DeMar. We'll mention the other player in just a moment, but I like to see Patrick Williams a little bit more aggressive. No, he's not going to drop 35 points like he did last year in the meaningless regular season game against Minnesota, but I like to see him just a little bit more aggressive offensively, taking the ball to the basket. Yes, if you had the open shot, take it, but you have the chance to get to the hole. His defense has been more than impressive this year. I just like to see him a little bit more aggressive offensively. And hopefully Andre Drummond will continue to get his minutes back and get his conditioning under him, because he's been very good off the bench along with Goran Dragic this year. Like you said, you mentioned Kobe White starting to get his timing back with the scoring. He stepped up big the other night in a win against Atlanta. I want to ask you about this third scorer before we hit our break, and that's Nikolai Vucevic. I know he's still a whipping boy amongst some in Bulls Nation, not yours truly, but he has to score more than 29 points as a season high this year. I know he had 20 and 7 on Wednesday against Atlanta. How important is it for the Bulls to establish him early in the game, especially in the post? Because he came out on the blocks, no pun intended, with that mindset to start the year. But the Bulls have been getting away from that these last few weeks.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of like been the thing to kind of get away from. But I guess if it helps spreading the ball around, everything else, I think that usually sort of helps. So that's, look, I think, setting this out, setting, the pace for him early, I think that would help as well with him. So I think it's kind of one of those things where you just gotta, the Vucevic, has been really probably one of the few consistent guys on there. I mean, yeah, he had like a couple of bad games, and I know that Bulls Twitter likes to, get on him, but he's actually been really solid for the Bulls. And we've been talking about it too. Him, Andre Drummond, Goran Dragic. I mean, look, I think, this team would be way off if we didn't have Dragic or Drummond. So I think people need to just, kind of like, get out of the head of, oh, well, Drummond and Dragic haven't contributed. Yeah, yes, they have, and, considerably. So I think people need to just, chill off that. So I know we're up against it, but yeah, I mean, I think, Vucevic needs to kind of like, set the tone for him more, and I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, we'll continue the discussion with the rest of the NBA following this timeout. LeBron James trolling a certain West Coast team. What else is new? You mentioned, Nikita, the Knicks 8-game win streak was stopped the other day. The Golden State Warriors, they are in trouble. And we'll preview the Christmas Day games that's coming up on Sunday. And we'll get into some college hoops as well, including Michigan and UNC doing battle. And the Fighting Illini got a taste of humble pie last night. We'll discuss all that and more as you listen to the Friday edition of Second City Sports. I'm Sid. That's Lakina. We're live and live in color right here on Sports Zone Chicago.
This year, my mom got me the perfect bag for back to school.
These colorful binders help me stay organized.
These headphones are just what I need for studying.
These new sneakers are just what I need for the new year.
This jacket is a real must-have.
My parents got me the skateboard I wanted. It's pretty cool.
These scissors really come in handy in art class. These colored pencils, too.
These new socks, they can be a real lifesaver. And I finally got my own phone to stay in touch with my mom.
Trisha's having a sleepover tonight. Can I go?
I wonder about Lucy's friends. What should I say? I know you're only 10, but one of these days a friend will offer you a drink. And alcohol at your age can lead to so many things. None of them good.
So can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me
I
something.
finished my homework.
Bigger promise. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
Mom.
I promise you. Your real friends won't care. Deal?
Sure.
Really?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Hey, this is Dr. J, and I listen to Sean and Maya in the morning.
Oh, I'm sorry. Welcome back to Second City Sports and the hashtag Football Friday edition, a special holiday edition of Second City Sports. We're live and live in color right here on Sports Zone Chicago. I'm Sid. That's Lakina. You can hit me up on the social media outlets on the Twitter and the IG at CK80. Once again, it's CK80. That's SIDKID80. SIDKID80.
You can follow me at Kingdom again on the Twitter and at Kingdom again on the IG.
We have 90 minutes left of this extravaganza we call it Sports Talk Radio Show. If you want to hit us up on the comment section, you can do so by going to Sports on Chicago's Facebook page or Sports on Chicago on YouTube. Type in your questions and comments in the comments section. Lakina will get them up on the screen for you. Continuing the basketball talk, Lakina, let's dive into the rest of the NBA. As usual, we will go backwards and head into last night's action Thursday. For those of you listening back on the replay, the New Orleans Pelicans without Zion Williamson, who entered health and safety protocols. As of last night, the Pelicans didn't need him because they beat the San Antonio Spurs 126-117 behind C.J. McCollum's near triple-double, scoring 40 points, including hitting 7 of 14 from downtown.
Yeah, this was a big win. John Morant led the way with well, yeah, and also Jordan Clarkson had 39 points for them, and Zion did score 31. Wait, I got the wrong. My time is a little bit off here, folks. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I saw a little bit of that game last night, and yeah, I mean, that was definitely a much needed win for the Pelicans. Luckily, they were paying the Spurs. They don't play hard, but CJ McCollum have 4. CJ McCollum have 40. Yeah, I think that's definitely up there with one of his career highs. And I think this was something that. Yeah, I think they needed that performance too because it did. Everyone else did struggle for the Pelicans without Zion. So hopefully Zion can come back in a couple of days. But it's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, I mean, look, you'll take the win if you're the Pelicans. I mean, it's one of those games where you needed to win it, especially without one of your best players. But you got it. So it worked.
Yeah, they've been struggling for the last couple of weeks that we talked about on the show, but it was a huge win for them at home last night. They have a record of now 19-12. It's tops 5 in the Western Conference. So let's see if the Pelicans can keep it going. The other game from last night, it was only 2 on a Thursday's docket. The Utah Jazz, who have been a surprise in the league this year, there are 3 games over 500, 19-16 after a 120-112 victory over the Washington Wizards last night in the state of Utah. Malik Beasley scored 25 points, while Jordan Clarkson, the ex-6 man of the year from a couple years ago, he added 23.
Yeah, we'll see if the Jazz can keep it up. I mean, I know that they went to like this big run, and they fell back to earth a little bit, and then now they're kind of getting on the roll again. The Wizards, Beal had 30 points, the losing effort, but it was just too much of the depth off the bench for the Jazz. Now, I don't know if the Jazz can hang on. Market had 21 points, kicked in from that, but. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see the Jazz to keep it up. I know that no one really expected the Jazz to have be 3 games above 500, this early in the season. But we'll see if they can keep it up. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if they can.
Let's go back to Wednesday's action and a couple of key games to highlight. The Indiana Pacers get out of Bingtown with a 117-112 victory. Tyrese Halliburton scored 33 points for the Pacers, including 30 points in performance in the first half. Jason Tatum missed the game, Lakina. Why? Because he wanted to attend his son's 5th birthday party. Now, would you have done that in the middle of a season? I know family's important. We all understand that, but would you have skipped a random Wednesday night game for your son's 5th birthday party? Could you just wait till after? Because I don't think they play. They don't play on. They do play on Christmas Day. So you could have. They could have waited till tomorrow or the day after. But Jason Tatum said, "No, it's very important to me. I'm gonna take a game off and celebrate my son's 5th birthday exactly on that day."
Yeah, they play tonight too. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I mean, I saw this. I heard Boston radio, and I know a lot of Celtics fans were not very happy with this decision that Tatum made. I know family is important to him. His 5-year-old is so son, he's adorable, but you gotta time this stuff out. I mean, I know it's a long season, but I'm sure if LeBron had done it when his kids were younger, people would have been all over him. So I think it just gotta. Yeah, I know prioritize a family, but you got to remember this is a 82-game season, and you have a job to do. So, and hopefully, they're still number 1 seed right now. Talk about Boston, but Milwaukee's right there, Philadelphia is right there too. So, if this is the kind of loss that had to come back and bite you in the butt, folks going to be pointing to this game. So, I think I get what he's saying. He's a great dad, but sometimes you just gotta. You gotta know what to your timing here, but it's a little bit nutty. But let's get to some of the other games. I want to get to this one because we talked about right before we went on air. Said the Raptors snapped the Knicks 8-game winning streak with a career high 52 points from Pascal Siakam. Check this out. He joins a good list of guys. He joins LeBron, Steph, and Harden as the only active players to record a 50-piece at the MSG, and also the 5th Raptors player to record a 50-point game in their history. So a really a good win for the Raptors because they've been struggling lately. But I think like I said tonight, as they play the Bulls, folks are gonna be the Knicks are gonna be not gonna be in a very good mood.
Yeah, as we mentioned before, Toronto is one of those tough teams. They have length, they have size, they have athleticism. Scotty Barnes leads that pack as well. You mentioned Siakam, world champion from a couple years ago. And Nick Nurse, you give him credit. I know they've been suffering through injuries too, but once that team puts it all together, you do not want to play the Toronto Raptors. So it's not I know it's a surprise to many people. It wasn't too much of a surprise to me. Maybe Siakam scoring 52 points. Okay, I'll give you that. But the way Toronto plays when they're all healthy and they're playing in one unit, it's not surprising.
No, not. I mean, when they're on, they're on, and I think this was like I said, this was definitely a game that they really needed desperately. But yeah, I mean, Siakam just went off, and look, sometimes that happens in the NBA.
Yep. A couple other games of note from Wednesday. The Oklahoma City Thunder defeated the Portland Trail Blazers 101-98. The Golden State Warriors, as I mentioned before the break, they are in trouble without Steph Curry. He's going to be out for a few more weeks. The Brooklyn Nets got the best of them, beating them by 30, 143-113.
And they actually, we'll get to the night prior. They actually lost by 38 against the Knicks, the night prior. So they're just a second defending champion to lose consecutive games by 30 or more points. Since the 98-99 Bulls. Remember that, Sid? But,
the 10th, sorry to the 10th Floyd era.
yeah. But
I'm not Jerry Krause's boy.
Oh,
let me stop.
You're opening like a can of worms with that. I mean, on a serious though, I mean, like they need Steph back. Hopefully, he can come back within the next week or two. But I mean, they were struggling on the road even before these back-to-back 30+ point losses. So they trailed by 40 at the half. Yeah, the Nets had scored of 91 points at halftime, mind you. So, but yeah, I mean, it's brutal. Everyone is struggling. I don't know. I mean, I know that Kerr is fumbling out with different lineups and such, but Moses Moody only having 17, and I know James Wiseman had 30 off the bench for the Warriors, which is a career high for them. But they really need. I know Klay Thompson didn't play either. Draymond only had 2 points, but on the flip side, though, for the Nets, I mean they're now 20-12. I know that it looks like Jacques Vaughn finally kind of found something there. All 5 stars were in double figures. They actually had like 9 guys in double figures, in total. So looks like I think Jacques Vaughn might have found a little bit of something there with the Nets.
We talked about this on the last couple of shows. Do you take Brooklyn to be a serious threat in the Eastern Conference? As I said on our last show on Monday, no drama. You play together. Things will turn out well for you if you're the Brooklyn Nets. And Kevin Durant is still doing his thing. Kyrie is finally starting to get back into basketball shape. He's starting to get back into the flow of things after that whole controversy with the tweet almost a month ago now. And so it looks like they're real focused. Like I said, Mike Brown could be your leader for Coach of the Year from Sacramento. Jacques Vaughn should be up there too.
Oh yeah, especially like I said, they're 20-12 as of right now. So if you're a Nets fan, you gotta be feeling pretty good. I mean, as long like I said, I think Jacques Vaughn, former Kansas guard, All-American. I think he's found his niche with them. So we'll see if they can keep it up. Going to the OKC Portland game. I mean, Shai Gilgeous Alexander. I mean, he's been he's been a stud. Look, he gave the Bulls fist when they played OKC a few weeks back. So it's just I mean, I think he has 3 most go ahead field goals in the last 2 seconds. I think he went on a little bit of a run there, but I mean, that's a really solid OKC squad. I mean, I give them another couple years where they actually are contenders in the West, but they've looked really good. So, and also too, real quick, Philadelphia and Detroit. I mean, they're still holding down the fort. Embiid had 22 points leading the way for them, and I mean, I think. Look, if you're a Sixers fan, you gotta be feeling pretty good where your team's at right now, even with all the the crazy lineup injuries and such.
Yeah, Doc Rivers is finally doing a great job in head coaching that team. As you mentioned, Lakina, injuries was a big bugaboo for them early in the year, minus Joel Embiid. And so you finally start to get some of these guys back, and you finally start to see the potential in this Philadelphia team. They're still up there in terms of being a top contenders in the Eastern Conference by a season in. We'll say that if that ends up that way. Now, one more score that we'll like to pass on before we move to the Tuesday schedule. The Sacramento Kings upended the Los Angeles Lakers at Sacramento's place at the Kings Palace, 134-120. Domantas Sabonis had 13 points, 21 rebounds, and 12 assists for a triple-double for this current season. But did you catch what LeBron James did on his Instagram page?
I did not see that.
Okay, he was practicing before the game. He was practicing his free throws, and usually on not the jumbotron, but on the advertisements in the stands, it said "Go Kings." He blurred out the word "go" and blurred out the letter S, as just say "King." I was like, LeBron James is really passive aggressive trolling the Sacramento Kings. It came to bite him in the butt.
I mean, we know he does this all the time, so I'm not freaking out about it. I know that he's been doing this for years in his Instagram, so it's not really like a big deal, for me. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, but the Kings got their revenge, so it's fine. Cleveland beats Milwaukee 114-106. Donovan Mitchell led the way with 36 points, even though despite Giannis leading the way with 45. For the Bucks, it was really the overall defense with the Cavs that kind of stopped them there. In that game. Now going to Tuesday's games real quick. Of course, we told you guys about the nearly only 40 piece that the Knicks gave the Warriors. The Wizards upset the Suns worth 113-110. Kyle Kuzma led the way for the Wizards with 29 points, which was a season high for him. Denver's on a little bit of a roll. They beat Memphis by 14, 105-91. And going into some of the games from Monday night, the Suns beat the Lakers 130-104. of course, OKC won the first game of that back-to-back doubleheader. Don't ask us why. Similar situation here. Alexander had 35 points in the way for them, but this time it was by a basket. The Bucks beat the Pelicans. The T-Wolves beat the Mavs, which was actually a crazy game because I guess Luka got tossed, Jason Kidd got tossed during that game as well. It was a little bit
Everybody
nutty.
hit the showers.
Yeah, I'll say that game itself was a little bit nutty.
Yeah. You're listening to Second City Sports on Sports Zone Chicago, the hashtag Football Friday edition, the special holiday edition of Second City Sports. I'm Sid Desley Keen as we talk NBA basketball. You can always hit us up in the comment section at Sports Zone Chicago's Facebook page or Sports Zone Chicago on YouTube. Type in your questions or comments in the comment section. Lakina will get them up on the screen for you. Before we move into some college hoops, we'll give you the schedule for this weekend's games in the NBA. Starting with tonight's schedule, Friday. Of course, we mentioned the Bulls in the Knicks at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time from MSG. You can watch that locally here in Chicago on NBC Sports Chicago. For those of you in New York on MSG, everybody else, NBA Glee Pass. Well, the rest of the schedule for tonight goes as follows. At 6 o'clock, you have San Antonio and Orlando. The Clippers at Philadelphia. That should be a good one. The Pistons at the Hawks at 6:30. Minnesota at Boston at 6:30. I think Jason Tatum will return for that one because they have a game on Sunday we'll tell you about in just a moment. But on NBA TV tonight at 6:30, we have Milwaukee at Brooklyn. That should be a fun one. At 6:30, we have Toronto at Cleveland. We have at 7 o'clock the Pacers at the Heat. The Mavericks at the Rockets in the Mid-Texas Shoodown. Pelicans will take on OKC Thunder at 7 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, we'll have Portland at Denver. At 9 p.m. on ESPN, we'll have Memphis at Phoenix. So that's a long game for ESPN tonight. At 9 o'clock, we have Washington at Sacramento. And at 9:30, we'll have Michael Jordan's Charlotte Hornets visiting LeBron James's Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, that should be interesting. There, of course, the bowl commitments is why there's only one 9 o'clock game for ESPN tonight. No games tomorrow night, Christmas Eve, Saturday. But Sunday, of course, you got the quintuple header, as you say, on ABC. These games will both be simulcast on ABC and ESPN. The first game I'm going to tell you guys, the 76ers against the Knicks. That'll be 11 a.m. Christmas Day after you open your presents, have your breakfast, watch the Disney Christmas parade. ABC, ESPN on ESPN Plus as well. Be streaming there. They got LeBron versus Luka at 1:30. The Lakers and the Mavs. That should be a good one. And the Bucks and the Celtics. They play each other again. Well, no, Minnesota play Minnesota, but yeah, I'm sure Jason Tatum will be playing this game as well. That'll be at 4 o'clock. A little bit of a downward with this one. Memphis and Golden State, especially with no Steph. So.
The NBA should have switched times for that game. Flipped the Dallas and Lakers game to 7 o'clock and pushed the Warriors game back. But the NBA is lazy and stupid. They didn't want to do that. But that's a whole nother issue. Go on.
The whole flex thing. And also to the late game at 9:30, also on ABC, ESPN. You got the Suns and Denver. Both teams are, I know it's the Suns that haven't had a good week. But, we'll see if they can win their game against Memphis. And also, too, they got to turn around and play Denver that they've been playing hot lately. So that should be a good one. And that's your Christmas schedule for the NBA.
Okay. And for the Monday schedule, the day after Christmas, the Bulls will host the Houston Rockets here in Chicago at the UC at 7 o'clock. At 6 p.m. on Monday on NBA TV, we have Brooklyn visiting Cleveland. We have the Clippers visiting Detroit. We have Minnesota visiting Miami at 6:30. At 7 o'clock, the Pacers will face the New Orleans Pelicans. Also at 7 o'clock, Utah at San Antonio. And the NBA TV doubleheader on the day after Christmas. Monday, we'll have Charlotte at Portland.
That should be a fun one. The reason we're doing is because we're going to be doing a Wednesday show. We won't be on Monday. We're going to be on Wednesday. That's why we're doing the Monday and Tuesday games. Now, the Tuesday games, you got the Lakers and Orlando. Paulo Banchero has been playing very well.
Yes, you're front runner for Rookie of the Year.
Definitely the clubhouse for Rookie of the Year. Had another 20-point game a couple of nights ago against Houston. So definitely in the leader clubhouse for MVP. Should be an interesting one here at 6 o'clock. Also, you got Philly and the Wizards. That should be a fun one. Houston going on a back-to-back. They play Boston. Atlanta, Indiana. That should be a fun one to battle the young teams there. Clippers in Toronto. They continue their East Coast road trip. The Suns play the Grizzlies again after playing them a couple of days ago on tonight. Don't ask how that works. San Antonio, OKC at 7. The NBA TV game should be a fun one. You got the Knicks and the Mavs at 7:30. Charlotte and Golden State. Hopefully, a little bit of home cooking would help the Warriors a little bit. And should be a fun one here. You got Denver and Sacramento at 9 o'clock.
All right, so that's your NBA schedule for this week. Coming up right here on you're listening to Second City Sports right here on Sports Zone Chicago. That's your NBA schedule for this upcoming weekend. Lakina, let's get to college basketball. Of course, the top 25 action last night will start locally as the number 16 ranked Fighting Illini, which their record now drops to 8-4 on the year. They lose to their I'm not gonna say state rival, but their natural rival, their borderline rival.
Yeah,
the Missouri. You call them the Fighting Mike Burns from NBC Sports, NBC 5 Sports Chicago, to the Missouri Tigers by the score of 93-71. Mizzou is now 11-1 on the year. Hodge led the way with 20 points for Missouri. Also, Kobe Brown for Missouri had 31 points, while Terrence Shannon for the Illini led that team with 22.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of this game, and it wasn't good. The Missouri led by 24 at halftime. You thought that maybe Illinois would go on a little bit of a run, but that didn't happen. And look, Dennis Gates, this is his second year at Mizzou, and he's done a really great job building this program. The lone loss has been to Kansas. We'll get to them in a second, but look, I think they're for real. I think Mizzou. I think people wanted to kind of see to get that big win. They got manhandled by Kansas, but this win against your rival, your bragging rights rival, as they say. I think they've got some really good players on that Mizzou squad. Of course, you talk about Kobe Brown, probably one of the top recruits, ended up going to Missouri. He led the way with 31 points, was a season high for him. And look, I think they'll definitely be the top 25, I believe, next week when the polls come out. Now, as far as Illinois, I mean, look, they're a Jekyll and Hyde team, as our buddy Herb Lawrence, who is an Illinois grad, would say. I mean, they came back and won against Texas a few weeks ago, but then they lose to Penn State at home. Of course, they beat Alabama A&M early this week, but then they end up losing to Missouri and getting their butts kicked in the bragging rights game in St. Louis. So, look, welcome to the jungle, I guess, Illinois. But, we'll see.
I know they out-rebounded Missouri 37-28, but you shot 22% from three-point range. That's not going to get it done, especially in today's basketball. So Illinois, you need to improve on their shooting and tighten up defensively, and I think they'll be okay. Mentioned Kansas, they destroyed Harvard last night. Actually, they got by Harvard 68-54.
Yeah, Harvard kept it close for a little bit, but yeah.
Episode back in the day.
Look, Harvard's actually a decent team. They actually are picked to win the Ivy League, so it's not really that big. They kept it close to Kansas, but of course, Kansas kicked it into gear, and now they're back up there. Arizona beat Morgan State pretty easily. Tommy Floyd goes to 45-5 as the Wildcats has his second best record by any coach in their first 50 career games in D1 history. Only Doc Meanwell, you got to go all the way back to 1911 and 1914. That's it. But
that's when basketball was invented, right?
Kind of give or take. But Tommy Floyd's done a great job with that program and such. But they're doing pretty well. They're at number 5. But Duke lost to Wake. I mean, on Wednesday, and I actually missed that upset, but that was something that kind of threw a lot of people off. I think that was their first win against, I'm talking about Wake Forest, their first win against Duke in about a decade. So I know that folks are kind of Duke fans are kind of want to give John Shire to kind of like the business, but look, I mean, these things happen. I mean, he has a pretty much a brand new squad, and they've actually been pretty good. So I think people need to just kind of chill a little bit and give him a little bit of time. So we'll see what happens there. Now let's see some other.
And Purdue took care of New Orleans by 21-74-53, and so they're going to remain at the top spot. Also, to Auburn, who's been very good in the last few years on the Bruce Pearl. They're ranked number 23 right now, but they dominated Washington on the road last night, 84-61.
Yeah, wasn't really expecting that, but I mean, Auburn's look really good too so far. A lot of people, this was supposed to be a rebuilding year for Bruce Pearl and Auburn, but that turned out not to be the case. UConn, they're number 2 behind Purdue. They beat Georgetown pretty handily, 84-73. Tristan Newton has 17 points. we've been saying the last couple episodes, Danny Hurst guys playing pretty well. They're picked to, look, Purdue and UConn, neither of them were in the top 25 early when the preseason records came out. So now look at them now. Now they're the top 2 teams in the country. So, just shows you about preseason rankings. But yeah, it's a little bit nutty there. But Miami edged out Virginia. Number 22, Miami edged out number 6 Virginia on Tuesday, 66-64. Alabama bounced back from that loss to Gonzaga beating Jackson State. Gonzaga beat Montana, and Baylor beats Northwestern State easily. I know DePaul's got a tough one this week. Northwestern's been playing pretty well lately. They get by UIC 92-54. They're 9-2. I mean, I know some people have already said this could be a tournament team. I mean, their only losses has been to Auburn and Pitt, which is they're not bad losses, but they haven't, and they beat Michigan State. Granted, Michigan State's not without some of their best players right now. But I think I would want to wait and see how they do in Big Ten play before I start saying, "Oh, this is going to be they're going back to a tournament this year." So let's slow down on that. All you Northwestern fans listening to this.
Yeah, I know Chris Collins is under pressure there in Northwestern to get that program back on track, but you need better players. I know you're in the Big Ten. I know you're Chicago's Big Ten team, but I know they had that appearance back in 2017 and 2018, whenever that was. They lost to Gonzaga, but it's been really a struggle for that program over the last few years. So like you said, hopefully once Big Ten play starts in the next couple of weeks, you can capitalize on it there. But till then, like I said, I'm probably just like you, I'm in wait and see mode.
Absolutely. Exactly. A couple of other games. Let me see. UCLA beat UC Davis. Of course, Houston beat Mendocino State on Wednesday. Tennessee easily over Austin Peay. A little revenge from last year. Texas, with all their issues with their head coach, we won't get into that. They beat Louisiana pretty handily, 172. And of course, you mentioned the Auburn, Washington. Boston College upset Vodtech in overtime, 70-65. TCU held off Utah 75-71. I think Jamie Dixon, now they get some of his guys back. They've been struggling a little bit, because of injuries, because of their tough guys, but they're kind of seem to be back into a groove. So we'll see as Big 12 play starts. Big 12 is going to be very, very interesting with Kansas and Baylor and TCU. So that should be a fun conference. Michigan, North Carolina beat Michigan 80-76.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. It was a close game throughout, especially in that second half. Michigan fought back hard, but they just came up short. I know North Carolina got the best of them a little bit in that first half, but give Juwan Howard's team credit. I know they're expected to be up there this year. I know they're 7-4 in the year, but give them the credit for fighting back hard in that second half.
Yeah, they really did. So yeah, that was an up and down game there. Michigan State, bounced back from the loss to Northwestern. They beat Oakland, pulled away from Oakland, I should say, 67-54. And Coach Izzo's interesting sweater, if you saw that, Sid.
I saw that. Yep.
He got a tee.
Ugly sweater, holiday sweater, maybe a little understatement. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that ref liked that sweater. That's probably why they gave him. You didn't give him a tee because what he said. I think it was just because he didn't like that sweater, probably. But yeah, going over up against. So we're gonna. Iowa got upset by Eastern Illinois of all teams. They were a 1.5 point favorite against the Panthers. So if you had Eastern Illinois and the under, Merry Christmas. You got a little bit of money.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yes, you got a Christmas bonus and then some. So
yeah, I mean, so
congratulations to those kids at Eastern Illinois.
Yeah, I know they've kind of had a tough go at it lately. I'm talking about the Panthers from Eastern Illinois. So, but I think that when I saw that, I was like, really? Yeah, really? Really? Okay, Fred McCaffrey. Okay, so a nice win from Marty Simmons and that program. So a good win by them. And look, even if they probably won't win the Ohio Valley Conference. They're not. I think they're picked to like near the bottom of the Ohio Valley Conference. But this is a nice win. They can go by for the rest of the season. So it's fine. Going into this weekend's games, you got Kennesaw State against number 18 Indiana on the Big Ten Network. Bucknell and Rutgers also on the Big Ten Network. A lot of these games are just, a lot of these are like, game, tournaments in like Hawaii and, those type of places. So, not a lot.
Yes, we said check your local listings.
Right, exactly. These cool holidays. No games tomorrow, of course, Christmas Eve, but, Christmas Day on Sunday, you got DePaul having to play Christmas Day against a crazy team that was actually near the top 10 earlier this season, but they've been struggling. They were picked to win the Big East, I should say. I'm talking about Creighton. They've had a rough go at it, so we'll see if DePaul, can take advantage. That's at 3:30 on the Big Fox Network on Christmas Day.
Yep. So that's your schedule for college football for this upcoming holiday weekend.
College hoops.
Yeah, college hoops. I said I thought I said hoops. Well, I'm sure we'll mention that again into our next episode. So that's your schedule for college hoops for this holiday weekend coming up.
Also, the real quick, since we're not going to be on Tuesday, Tuesday. No games Monday, but they've got these Tuesday. Seton Hall with Shane Holloway, the first year coach, against Marquette, the Fighting Shaka Smarts, as we call them. That's an FS1, and also Texas host Texas A&M Commerce. That's will be on the Longhorn Network, and Jacksonville plays Notre Dame at 6:00 on the ACC network, and South Carolina State face Texas Tech. So that's your schedule for college hoops for this weekend going into early next week.
Yep. Hour number 1 in the books. Hour number 2 straight ahead. You're listening to Second City Sports on the hashtag Football Friday special Christmas holiday edition of the program. Yep. As we warm up throughout this top of the hour commercial break. When we return, we'll give you a Bills Bears preview. We'll give you our picks for week 16. Is it week 16, Lakina?
Yep, I believe you're. Let me double check again. I believe you're right, and we'll recap. I will recap Jags and Jets from last night. If you're a Jets fan, if you're a Jets fan, you're not in a very good mood this morning.
Exactly.
Today.
We'll get into Carlos Correa and that madness.
Oh gosh.
Ooh, we'll got to get Dick the Red. NFL Sunday Ticket has a new home.
Yes.
And does the Bally Sports Regional Sports Networks have a new home too? We'll get into that and a whole lot more. I'm Sid. That's Lakina. You're listening to Second City Sports. We're live and living in color right here on Sports Zone Chicago.
No, I don't know though. I'm scared. I mean, you're
Do you know that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
Hi, I'm Tom Brady, the director of DODEA. September is National Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month. The simple act of reaching out and caring for those in our communities is something we all can do. Just being there for someone you care about can be a tremendous first step in getting them access to confidential resources and support that they need. It only takes one person and one small act and 1 minute to make a difference. Let's make a difference.
Move it!
Many will hear the calling. Few will earn the title. United States Marine. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of Second City Sports, hashtag Football Friday edition, the hashtag holiday edition of Second City Sports. We're live and living in color right here on Sports Zone Chicago. I'm Sid, that's Lakina. You can hit up yours truly on the Twitter and the IG at SidK80. Once again, at SidK80, that's SIDKID80. That's SIDKID80.
You can follow me at Keena McGee on the Twitter and at Keena McGee on the IG.
We have less than an hour left of this extravaganza. We call it Sports Talk Radio Show. If you want to hit us up in the comments section, you can do so on Sports Zone Chicago's Facebook page or Sports Zone Chicago on YouTube. Type in your questions or comments in the comments section. Lakina will get them up on the screen for you. And a reminder that you also can catch Sports Zone Chicago on Roku TV. All right, Lakina, let's kick off hour number 2 of this fabulous program by previewing tomorrow's Christmas Eve game for the Chicago Bears as they'll host the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are checking in with an 11-3 record, while the Bears are hoist a record of 3-11. The Buffalo Bills are favored by 8 points. In the game time temperature, Lakina, check this out. The wind chill will be between a -15 and a -20. Yay!
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, look,
now, if someone,
that, right?
real quick, if someone offers you free tickets to tomorrow's game, you will not go. I'm with you. I'm with you.
No. Would you go?
I'm with you.
Oh, okay.
No.
Oh, good. Yeah, there's not enough money in the world to, I don't know how you feel. So there's not enough money in the world that would give me to go out there as cold as it's going to be tomorrow. Not a freaking chance. Even if you pay me, it would have to be a very high amount. In the thousands, you're gonna get me to sit out there in the cold? No. And I guess there's gonna be some limitations on parking and other things as well. So yeah, so if you are going to the game, you brave souls, or are you guys nuts? I don't know, but make sure you follow the rules carefully going to Soldier Field tomorrow and stay warm.
Yes. Checking in with the rankings for both of these teams as they enter into tomorrow's Christmas Eve contest. On offense, the Bills are ranked second in the National Football League, while the Bears check in at number 23. On defense, the Bills are ranked 8th, while the Bears stand at number 22. In passing, the Bears are dead last, no surprise, while the Bills are ranked 5th overall. In rushing, the Bears are number 1, thanks to Justin Fields, and the Buffalo Bills check in at number 9, thanks in large part to their star quarterback, Mr. Josh Allen. Lakina, what are you looking forward to tomorrow's game between the Bears and the Bills, starting with the Bears side of things?
Well, yeah, I know that people want to say this is bear weather, but people forget that Buffalo, it gets colder than that in Buffalo this time of year.
Yes, and sometimes it gets worse weather than we do.
Exactly. So I think people need to kind of just chill on the whole. Well, it's bear weather. I know Coach Vu said, "Oh, this is bear weather." Like, well, it's not like Buffalo is in Arizona or something. I'm sure there is.
Or playing the dome.
Yeah, I'll say exactly. I'm sure there's a Buffalo, Arizona. I'm sure somewhere. But yeah, they're in New York, upstate New York. I know it gets pretty cold and snowy, so they're used to this. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting on the Bears side. I mean, the rush defense for the Bills, especially with Von Miller being out, or they'll. Maybe David Montgomery and maybe even Justin Fields will probably get their touches and such. I mean, I'm sure how the guys are going to limit to how much throwing is going to be done, especially since it's going to be so cold. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the defense. I mean, they showed a little bit of a fight against the Eagles, but you're facing a Buffalo team. I know people want to say that because I've heard folks say, well, the Bills might look ahead to because they play Cincinnati next Sunday, but I'm like. Look, the KC is still breathing down their necks. They still need the number one. Yes, they've clinched the division already, but they still want to get that number 1 seed. And they got the tiebreaker against Kansas City, and Kansas City is still breathing down their necks. So the Bills got a lot of incentives to play tomorrow. So I think for anybody that thinks that they don't have incentives, but we'll see how the defense does. Josh Allen, good luck trying to catch him if you're, and they're gonna be out a couple of their key guys. Talking about the Bears, So, it's going to be very interesting. Look, I mean, if they can do it like they played against the Eagles last week, I mean, they can keep it close, but I'm not really expecting too much.
Yeah, offensively for the Bears, I'm looking for a heavy dosage of David Montgomery and whoever else decides to run the ball outside of Justin Fields. I don't know if Khalil Herbert's back or not, but I'm looking for a heavy dosage of the running game for the Bears. Let's see if Cole Kmet can get involved more in the game plan offensively for Mr. Justin Fields. Hopefully Justin Fields does have to run for his life, especially with Von Miller being gone for the year for Buffalo. As we said last week, Buffalo's run defense got exposed by Miami last week. Let's see if the Bears can do it for this week. But defensively, Lakina, what keys what chains in the armor will the Bears defense have for Mr. Josh Allen? As we said before, he leads the Buffalo Bills in rushing. You still have Stephon Diggs as a star wide receiver on the outside. You know that Josh Allen and Diggs are going to connect a few times. Just hope the Bears are ready for that. Don't forget Gabriel Davis. He's up for a big player too, so you cannot forget about him. Lakina, with the weather temperature, the game time temperature being what it is for tomorrow, I don't know. We're going to see a whole lot of passing yards for both of these teams. Definitely for not the Bears. I'm cheering for Justin Fields, certainly, but realistically, I'm not looking for a lot of passing yards, especially from the Bears. But if any team could get it, it'll be Buffalo. But I don't think it's going to be that much for them either.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, I know how you feel about Josh Allen leading the team in rushing. So I'm sure we'll see a lot of Devin Singletary and James Cook. You know, I'm sure we'll probably see. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they will. And look, Claypool's going to be out for the Bears. He's doubtful. Tevin Jenkins is doubtful. Jalen Johnson's questionable with a finger in the ribs injury, so he's questionable. He was limited yesterday, Thursday. So if you're Josh Allen, you might want to take a couple of cracks at it. If Jalen Johnson, he's questionable. Looks like Kildall Vildo's going to be out as well. For also in Quantum St. Brown's going to be out, and also Cody Whitehair too. So if you're the Bills defense, you want to try to kind of redeem yourself, especially after what happened in that Dolphins game. So look, I think equal with the weather, especially. So look, I'm sure Justin he'll get his big running plays if you're Fields. You'll get your chance at the running, but I think a lot of these guys are going to want to, for the Bills, I think they're going to want to kind of try to stop that run, especially after what happened with Miami last Saturday. So, for the Bills, I should say. So, yeah, so look, I think they'll keep it close about the Bears. I mean, like you said, I mean, the weather, you won't see a lot of passing yards, but also at the same time, though, I think if you're the Bills, I mean, look, if Jalen Johnson is going to be out, he's doubtful, but if he is going to be out, we probably won't hear it until after the show is over with. But if you're Josh Allen, you let it fly, and hopefully, we'll see how the wind is by then. It'll still be a little bit windy, so you may want to do a lot of running if you're both the Bears and the Bills. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see who's going to kind of have the edge in the rushing department.
Especially in games like this and conditions like this, can you expect something from your special teams? I know the Bears have been hit and miss with their special teams all year. I know Velus Jones, he's still kind of in the doghouse with head coach Matt Eberflus. Cairo Santos, he's missed about 3 extra points this year, and that's not good. And the conditions are not going to be in his favor tomorrow. So will Matt Eberflus trust him again? I'm not sure. So I'm looking for something, hopefully on the positive side for the Bears special teams tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, look, they've been kind of been hit or miss and up and down, like you said. So they've given up, some kickoff returns and punt returns. So so I mean, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it'll be interesting to see. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think I think 8.5 was the Bills are favored by. I would take the under, but I don't think it's going to be by that much. I think there'll be some garbage points late by the Bears.
So you'll take the Bears to cover?
Yeah, I think they'll cover. Yeah, I think they'll cover. I don't think it's going to be like a blowout, especially how the weather's going to be. And look, Justin Fields will have his big runs and such. Hopefully it's not slippery. Hopefully that turf can take that icy parts, because we know how that turf is at times.
Yeah, it's a mess already. It could be a bigger mess tomorrow. Right. So we'll see what happens. That Bills and Bears game will be airing at noon on CBS2, locally here on CBS2 Chicago. Greg Gumbel, Chicago's very own, will be calling that game for CBS. So look out for that tomorrow. That's tomorrow at noon, Christmas Eve on the lakefront. You're listening to Second City Sports on Sports Zone Chicago. I'm Sid. That's Lakina. As we talk NFL, you have any thoughts about the Bears and the NFL at large? We'll get to our picks in our next segment. But you have any thoughts about the Bears on the NFL? Just hit us up on the Facebook page at Sports Zone Chicago or Sports Zone Chicago on YouTube.
Also, former Bear Adam Marshall will be calling the game with him too. So
yeah,
also Melody Collins will be on the sideline. I mean, she's from Penn State. She went to Penn State, so I'm sure she probably did this stuff. She'll be. I'm sure they'll all be dressed warm, so I think they'll be fine. But let's recap real quick. Jaguars and Jets. 19-3. The Jags. Keep their playoff hopes alive. And with the Jets losing, Cincinnati's back in the playoffs. I don't know how that is, but that's what I guess that's how weird how that works in the rushing department. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence threw for 229 yards, else at a rushing touchdown. Travis Etienne had 83 rushing yards. Chris Trivier for the Jets had 54 rushing yards. They need to get it going because Trevor Lawrence was out rushing the Jets. So they brought Chris Trevor on as a QB. He can run as well. It's just that they didn't bring in Joe Flacco. That's a whole different conversation. But yeah, Zach Wilson struggled. He got sacked 3 times. He was only 9 for 18. He threw an interception.
I know, got booed by the home fans and yanked in the third quarter. It got ugly for the Jets. No, trust me, if Mike White was healthy, the Jets would have started him last night. They probably would have won the game.
They won the game too, yep.
But that wasn't the case for Robert Saleh and crew last night. Lakina, Travis Etienne looks like he's starting the second year back out of Clemson. Looks like he's starting to find his footing. He had 22 carries for 83 yards. He had a long run of 19. So that Jacksonville Jaguars running game, and looks like he's starting to pick up. I know they traded James Robinson at the trade deadline to the New York Jets. We didn't see him on the field last night. But Evan Ingram, their star tight end, the former New York Giant, standout. He had 7 catches for the Jags last night for 113 yards. It wasn't a pretty game. I know a lot of it had to do with the bad weather, but Jacksonville did enough just to beat the Jets. And we talked about that Jets defense last week. Lakina, it's been struggling for the last month. Their struggles continued, obviously, last night.
Yeah, I think they know they have a lot of injuries in the Jets defense right now. So, like I said on Twitter, I'm going to say here, the Jets aren't ready for prime time, at least not yet. They're not. And look, I'm sure. If Mike White had played, I'm sure like you said, I'm sure they probably would have won that game. But Zach Wilson, I don't want to say he's a bust, but considering the fact that he had Elijah Moore complain that he wasn't getting a lot of touches, and then you have other stuff going on too. There was some other stuff that came out too about that. So the fact they had to bring on Chris Trevor to get the running game going, that's not a good sign. So the Jets fall to 7-8. They're going to need a lot of help and win out if they want to get a chance to get one of those wild card spots. But yeah, it just was not just wasn't pretty at all.
You're listening to Second City Sports on Sports Zone Chicago Live in living color on a Friday, the special holiday edition. I'm Sid. That's Lakina as we talk about the NFL in Week 16. We'll get to our picks on the other side of this break. But Lakina, before we get to some of the other games that you're looking forward to this weekend, Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville. Remember, I called it on my picks before the season started. I said Jacksonville will make it in as a wild card. Right now, they're a half game behind the Tennessee Titans for the division lead in the AFC South. They defeated the Titans just a couple of weeks ago on the road. I think they play them again in a couple of weeks to end the regular season. Yep. Are you a believer in the Jacksonville Jaguars?
I'm kind of show me mode with the Jags right now. I mean, I know they're at 7-8. I'm sure there are a couple losses. I'm sure they would love to have back, but I think they're getting hot at the right time. We'll see. I mean, a lot has to happen for them to get into the playoffs and the wild card spot. Hey, they may have an outside shot win the AFC South. The way we'll get to the Titans and their issues in a second, but they've got a legit shot. I mean, you look at they got to win. They got to win out. Obviously, they got to hope for other stuff to happen. The first bet probably is to just they may have to beat the Titans and win the AFC South.
Yeah. So what other? I know there's 3 games on Christmas Day as we're talking about the NFL, and the rest of the schedule will take place on Christmas Eve tomorrow. What are some of the other games that you're looking forward to tomorrow and Sunday?
I mean, the Seahawks Chiefs. I mean, that might be a little bit interesting. We'll see. I mean,
that might be it for Seattle if they lose that.
If they lose it, yeah, they definitely would need to win it because they might. If they lose, it might be bye to Gino and the gang. So that they need to win this game and they need to win it. Desperately. So that's going to be at noon on Fox tomorrow. Giants and Vikings. I know Giants were able to win against the Commanders. I think the Vikings they still got a lot to play for. I mean. They may have to, a lot of stuff going to have to for them to get a chance to be the number 1 seed and overtake Philly, but they still got a lot of.
They have a shutdown since Jalen Hurts is out for the Eagles.
Yeah, so we'll get to them in a second, but yeah, I mean, they have a legit shot at it. Bengals and Patriots, and the Bengals are already in the playoffs, but I think they want to win the division, the AFC North. The Patriots is going to be their last stand too, so if they don't win this game, so it's going to be bye to them as well. So. I know all the weird playoff scenarios are just like about 100 different. That's it's too much. But now speaking of the Commanders, they face a 49ers team that's hot. So that they really need this win to kind of stay in the thick of it on the wild card. So we'll see what happens there. Eagles and Cowboys. Jalen Hurts being out is Minshew Mania. Minshew Mania is back. So
Mr. Pornstash, I called him on a radio show a couple of years
Lord. In the NFC East, that's going to be a 3:25 game, I believe. I mean, that's going to be the whole nation. So Fox has
the entire country
tomorrow.
get their game for Fox.
Fox has double header tomorrow. I know it's weird saying that. These Saturday on a Saturday, but it's just crazy how they made that schedule this year. Raiders and Steelers. I mean, the Steelers have been, both teams still have an outside shot of getting in, so that should be a fun one on NFL Network.
RIP to Franco Harris, who passed away.
We got to talk about
the
that.
Hall of Famer from the Steelers. They were gonna retire his number at halftime at tomorrow's game anyway, but it's gonna be a more special meeting now since he passed away earlier this week.
Yeah, it was. Today is the 50th anniversary of that Immaculate Reception that that happened against the then they were in Oakland at the time.
The original Oakland Raiders.
1972. Yeah, it was crazy because he was he was telling stories, and everything else up until and then next day he dies, and they were actually going to like I said, they were going to do a statue, they were going to retire his jersey, they were going to celebrate the 50th anniversary of that crazy play in NFL history. So you feel for the organization and for his family because he I know for what I've read he was looking forward to that. So. It's sad that happened, but RIP to Franco Harris, and such. Denver and the Rams. Ooh, that's gonna be a CBS Nickelodeon game.
I think the Nickelodeon broadcast will be more interesting. I don't know if Russell Wilson's gonna play or not. That will help both those networks if he did, but if he does, I know the NBA is going up against the NFL, but. Ooh, you didn't imagine all the mess from both teams at the start of the season. Good grief. I know CBS is kicking himself in the pants for this one.
Yeah, I think they're already banging their head like against the wall. Yeah. But I mean, look, it's a nice showing, especially on Nickelodeon. I know Noah Eagle and Nate Burrows will once again be calling the games for them. So, it should be fun. Also, RIP to Ronnie Hillman, who was a big part of the most recent Broncos Super Bowl.
Yes, in 2015. Yes.
Yeah, so died of a rare form of liver cancer. Just scary. I think for one of his family members that they kind of attacked him pretty quick. So just RIP to him and as well in the Broncos organization. I'm sure they're gonna want to try to play hard for him. I know he was still close with the organization. Before that, but I mean, some of these games they have a lot of playoff implications. So, which ones are you looking forward to, Sid? I'm dying to see.
Christmas Day, Miami hosting Green Bay. Of course, Green Bay. Many people still believe that they're in it. Of course, Green Bay has to win out and expect some help. But the Miami Dolphins have been struggling the last couple of weeks. Of course, they lost a close one to Buffalo last Saturday night in the snow. But this is an important game for both teams. Well, I think Miami will use that heat and that humidity to their benefit. I think they'll. I'll give you my pick at the bottom of the hour, but I think this is going to be a closer game than what people expect. There's more pressure on Green Bay because they're on the outside looking in on as far as the playoffs. But the Miami Dolphins had to reestablish themselves, really attack that Packers defense. I want to see how Tua Tagovailoa comes out on Sunday, and can the Dolphins establish a running game?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the key for them. And if you're NBC, you're probably kicking yourself because you thought this would be a better matchup. You got the Bucs and the Cardinals for Sunday Night Football. Cardinals are 4-10, and Trace McSorley will get his start, just a second NFL start.
But they'll keep afloat only because Tom Brady's on the flip side. And number two, should Carolina pull out the upset against Detroit on Sunday, and if Tampa somehow loses, it's going to get ugly interesting for next week because those two teams play next week.
Oh goodness, oh great. So maybe there is some implications, I guess. So we'll see what happens.
It is what it is, folks. Welcome to parity in the National Football League.
Sorry, folks, but Chargers and Colts Monday night.
Yeah, Christine Maddock. I wish she was on with us today. Her guy Nick Foles is going to get a start at quarterback.
I know she was very happy. I'm sure she got to learn on her phone that she's going to be her guy Foles is going to be starting. But that'll be interesting. Of course, the Chargers need to keep winning to keep themselves. They're 8-6 right now. They're right there, like near the edge of they're in the 7th seed right now in the playoffs. So they definitely need to win. Keep winning, to make sure they get into the playoffs as well. But a lot of playoff implications. And that's what you want for the NFL this time of year, especially as we're getting in the later weeks. So some games, got a lot of playoff implications for a lot of these games. And a lot of incentives for some of these teams too, like Buffalo. Buffalo still needs to. They got a lot to.
Mhm.
Yeah, because the Chiefs, they got a tough one against the Seahawks. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, there should be some good games. Again, we'll get to more on that as we go to after the break. So, but yeah, listen to Second City Sports on Sports Zone Chicago. Lakina McGee, Sydney Brown, with you. You want to do a little bit of baseball, real quick?
Yes.
Yeah,
Before we break for the bottom of the hour, of course, Carlos Correa. It was reported that he was going to sign with the San Francisco Giants for that 13-year deal. And of course, there was something wrong with his medical report. Steve Cohen in New York Mets said, let's jump on him right away and let's sign him to a long-term contract. So Carlos Correa is now a member of the New York Mets.
Yeah, that whole sequence was very weird. I mean, apparently his wife and all their parents were right there in San Francisco in a hotel waiting for the sign to be official. But then, I guess something came up, like you said, something came up in his medical report.
Or did the Giants get cold feet?
That's probably that's kind of like the conspiracy theories that maybe the Giants had to pay him a lot of money and got a little bit of cold feet and the Mets swooped in and he's now a Met, so there you go. But yeah, I mean that whole thing was just nutty. I mean you went from you thought the Giants were gonna get a big all-star player, but then the Mets swoop in and they've been apparently they're getting this money. I don't know where they're getting all this money from. I'm talking about the Mets, but. That whole thing was just really, really crazy and gnarly. What'd you think?
Yeah, I thought the whole thing was crazy too. Like all teams in all professional sports and college too, that you do a medical report on medical physicals on players as part of the evaluation of the requirements for them to play. And when I heard that, I was like, shouldn't the Twins or somebody else notify the Giants of what was going on? But I think the Giants got cold feet at the end of the day. They missed out on Aaron Judge, and I'm sure somebody told them like, well, Carlos Correa is going to be damn near 40 years old by the time that contract's up. You're not going to be able to move him in the first few years. So, and there's some, I know there's some stories that going around that Carlos Correa couldn't have any certain stipulations in that contract. So who knows? I'm sure in due time we'll find out all the details. But it sounds like to me as of right now, the Giants got cold feet and the Mets jumped on it. Now the Mets are stacked with a quote unquote super team. We'll see how that works out because it doesn't always work out that way in baseball.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Apparently the Mets have all this money to spend, so go figure with that one. Michael Conforto, I know our buddy Jared Willis from CHGO. I know the Cubs were very high on him. I know the White Sox were very high on him as well. Now they didn't get Carlos Correa, the Giants did, but they gave Michael Conforto a 2-year, $36 million deal. That news came out earlier this morning. 29 years old, been to a couple All-Star games. I think, look, this is a very solid signing. I think, and also at a bargain. So I guess that's probably why that they decided to go with him and perhaps not with Correa. They save a little bit of almost $300 million there. So
yeah, like I said, save his face for the moment. I think this is a good baseball fit for the Giants. I know some Giants fans are still upset because of the whole Correa situation, but I think this is a good baseball move for the Giants.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, nice little pickup there. I know that Cubs and Sox fans are a little bit bummed because I know that both
not so much Sox fans since we got Benintendi now. So
I'm sure they wanted kind of the extra outfielder. I guess to keep Eloy from being in the outfield. That's just my thing about that. But I know like I said, everybody I know the Cubs fans were very high on Conforto too. But I think that's about it for all the big free agents or even the mid-tier free agents. So I mean, like I said, we'll talk about it, as the weeks go on about how both teams did and both the Chicago teams. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, how the especially his big contract, 12 a year of $315 million for a career with the Mets.
Yeah, let's see what the Cubs can do as they try to pick up another bat, perhaps play first base full-time. Trey Mancini is still out there. Of course, the former Baltimore Oriole, he won his World Series ring last year with the Astros. And will the White Sox go within? As I predicted, I think Roman Gonzalez has an inside track to become your starting second baseman for the White Sox. Or will we kind of work his quote-unquote match it as far as trades concerned? Real quick before we break for the bottom of the hour, Ken, did you read? I saw this on Twitter yesterday. Did you read the rumors that they had discussions with the Mets in terms of Leon Hendricks and Eloy Jimenez, and it was dead?
Yeah, like I don't know because the Mets didn't want to part with some of their prospects. I don't know, but yeah. I mean, that's interesting that that it's basically open season for the White Sox. We know the Hendricks rumors have been around for a little bit, but yeah, Eloy. That's the first time I've heard Eloy's name being mentioned in a potential trade. So yeah, we'll see. We know that Rick Hahn has something up his sleeve, so we'll see if he does as we get closer.
Yeah, the White Sox need to rebuild that farm system as quiet as it's kept. I know Oscar Colas is supposed to be up at some point during this upcoming season, but they need to rebuild that farm system. I know it's quiet as it's kept, but we'll see what happens with the Sox and the Cubs moving forward in this offseason. Break for the bottom of the hour, Lakina. We got to finish strong. We got to help carry each other through this last break before we break for the Christmas holiday. We got our Week 16 NFL picks coming up. Bally Sports looks like they were saved by a certain channel, and the NFL Sunday Ticket has a new home. We'll discuss that and a whole lot more as you're listening to the.
Also, Sid's guy, we're missing his bowl game. I'll tell you who that is in just a second.
That and a whole lot more. You're listening to the hashtag Football Friday edition and the special Christmas holiday edition of Second City Sports. I'm Sid. That's Lakina. We're live in the living color as you're listening to Sports Zone Chicago.
This year, my mom got me the perfect bag for back to school.
These colorful binders help me stay organized.
These headphones are just what I need for studying.
These new sneakers are just what I needed for the new year.
This jacket is a real must-have.
My parents got me the skateboard I wanted. It's pretty cool.
These scissors really come in handy in art class. These colored pencils, too.
These new socks, they can be a real lifesaver. I finally got my own phone to stay in touch with my mom.
Trisha's having a sleepover tonight. Can I go?
I wonder about Lucy's friends. What should I say? I know you're only 10, but one of these days a friend will offer you a drink. And alcohol at your age can lead to so many things. None of them good.
So can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me
I
something.
finished my homework.
Bigger promise. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
Sure.
Really?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov, a public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Hey, this is Dr. J, and I listen to Sean and Maya in the morning.
Oh, I'm sorry. Welcome back to Second City Sports hashtag Football Friday edition hashtag Christmas edition of Second City Sports. We're live in living color right here on Sports Zone Chicago. I'm Sid Deslakina. This is our last break of the show for today and last break for the weekend before we take our holiday break. You can follow yours truly on the Twitter and the IG at CK80. Once again, it's CK80. That's SIDKID80. SIDKID80.
You can follow me at Keaton McGee on the Twitter and at Keaton McGee on the IG.
We got less than a half hour left of this extravaganza we call a Sports Talk Radio Show. You have any questions or comments for us, you can always hit us up at Sports Zone Chicago's Facebook page or Sports Zone Chicago on YouTube. Type in your questions or comments in the comments section. Lakina will get up on the screen for you. Now it's time for our Week 16 NFL picks. Lakina, what's the results from last week and what's the standings overall?
We all did pretty well overall, Sid. You led the way with 12. You had 12.
Yay!
Christy and I both had 11. So you're 2 games up now on Christine. So
yes, I need some more separation from her. Yes.
Yeah.
How many games I'm up over you?
Like 3 or 4.
Okay.
So I guess I got a little bit of outside shop. Yeah, I got Christy's picks right here. So, Sid, why don't you start us off with this first game? This will be the first. Remember, these games are coming out tomorrow, Saturday, Christmas Eve. Remember, folks, Falcons and Ravens. Of course, Lamar Jackson is still out with that PCL sprain. So, Tyler Huntley will get to start once again. Atlanta will still, they still got an outside shot, believe it or not, in the NFC South, I should say. So, what do you think?
Marcus Mariota left the team. They starting a rookie quarterback. Talking about the Falcons. Now they got to go on the road outside.
It's gonna be cold tomorrow too in Baltimore.
Yeah, so it's going to be ugly close, as you say. Lakina, this is your typical 1980s style football, but it'll be understandable, one, because of the weather. The Ravens are favored by 6.5. I don't know if they're going to win by that much, but I'm picking them to win overall.
Yeah, I think weather will probably be a factor too, because it's going to be very cold and windy in Baltimore, I should say, tomorrow. So, and Baltimore really needs this win to keep pace with the Bengals in the AFC North, especially since the Bengals have clinched a playoff spot. They need to win this to clinch a playoff spot as well. So, I think Baltimore will win it. It'll be close. It might be one of these 9-6, 10-7, whatever type of game. So, I'll pick Baltimore. So, and Christy agrees. She's picking Baltimore as well. No, go ahead, Sid.
Okay, next game we'll have the New Orleans Saints at 5-9. They'll visit the Dog Pound to face the 6-8 Cleveland Browns. Cleveland is favored by 3.
Yeah, I know Cleveland had that big win against Baltimore.
Jadeveon Clowney out for Cleveland.
The Saints. Look, they got to go outside because they're indoors. I don't know. Jesus. The Browns still have an outside shot. They still got an outside shot. They're still alive in the playoffs. I know I shouldn't do this, but I guess I'll pick in Cleveland only because they're a better team. I know. I know. Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, same here. I'm going with Cleveland.
And you know how Christine feels about the Browns, so she's picking New Orleans. So we won't even rehash that. But okay. Well, as I type this up,
who did she pick?
She picks Cleveland.
Okay. Moving on.
Yeah. So hold on. Let me see here. Let me write this down. Lions and Panthers. Lions. Yeah. Panthers still got out. Shout out to an NFC South, believe it or not.
Yeah.
As crazy as that sounds, but you got the Lions coming in. They're on a little bit of a roll. They're at 7-7. Sid?
I know Detroit's a 2.5-point favorite on the road. They've been winning everywhere, inside, outside. Carolina, usually around this time of year, we get to get some strange upsets. I won't be surprised here, but I'm sticking my neck out. I'm going with Carolina.
Would that be a bigger surprise if Carolina somehow wins this? But I wouldn't be shocked. If Carolina pulls it about the upset, but I'm gonna get the better of that. I'm picking Detroit. I think they finally have found something. They got a little bit of a rhythm going. So I'm picking Detroit, and so is Christine. So so sorry, Sid, you're kind of on your own with that one. So you go ahead.
Well, this is new.
So you go ahead, do the next game for us as I write all this stuff down.
The Tennessee Titans at 7-7. They'll have Mr. Malik Willis. Would you talk about Willis, starting head quarterback for the injured Ryan Tannehill, who's out for the year with an ankle injury. They'll host the 1-12-1 Houston Texans, the worst team in the National Football League. The Titans are favored by 3 points at home. Lovie Smith has got his guys playing well the last couple of weeks. They just cannot find that victory. Could they do it on Sunday on the road? I'll ask you first.
I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, I think, look, they were very close their last couple of games. They probably should have beaten the Chiefs, if, Davis Mills, not been Davis Mills.
Yeah.
But, I mean, jeez.
These games are not as easy as you think, folks. It's not.
Yeah. And, look, we don't know how Willis is going to look. Will we see a lot of Derrick Henry? I know that run defense for the Texans isn't very good, so we may see a lot of him.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pick the Titans as they're at home, but like I said, I wouldn't be shocked. I would be surprised if the Texans pull off the upset, but I'm picking the Titans.
Yeah, I'm going with Tennessee as well, especially since Jacksonville won last night. That keeps the heat on Tennessee, so I'm going with Tennessee in the close one.
And it's a sweep. Our girl Christine also has a Titans, so we'll see what happens there. Okay, should be an interesting one here. You got the Seahawks and the Chiefs. Could this be a trap game for the Chiefs? I mean, you saw, look, the Texans kind of gave you the formula with the run game. I know Kenneth Walker III has been kind of in and out of the lineup with the ankle injury. I know Geno Smith has struggled the last few weeks. I know
congratulations to him making a Pro Bowl.
Getting a Pro Bowl. So congratulations to him. First Pro Bowl. Of course, Pat Mahomes, in the Pro Bowl again as well. We'll probably talk a little bit about that after the picks. But should I or shouldn't I? I'll pick the Chiefs. I ain't that nutty.
I'm going Kansas City as well. As we mentioned during our last break, this is a elimination game, in my opinion, for Seattle because it's a ugly, crowded room down there for the last two wild card spots in the NFC. So I think the Seahawks will kind of keep it close, but I think Kansas City will come out with the win. Kansas City, by the way, is favored by 10 points even.
I'd take the under though. If I were anybody, if you're gambling, I would take.
So you think Seattle will cover?
I think they'll cover. I don't think the Chiefs are. Yeah. Well, look, you saw what happened last week against the Texans.
True.
So I have no confidence in the Chiefs at this point. So
like I said, we take Kansas City win a ball game. What about Christine?
Yeah, she has the Chiefs too. She's got the Chiefs.
Okay.
So so it's a sweep there. An intriguing one here. You got the Giants and the Vikings. The Vikings, of course, with that miraculous comeback, historical comeback, all that stuff. The Giants got a nice win against the Commanders last Sunday night. Sid, you start this for us, please.
The Vikings smell blood in the water because of the injuries to the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback. So they still may have an outside shot at getting the number 1 seed, even though they had the NFC North Division clinch. They're at home. The Giants are still fighting for their playoff lives. It wouldn't shock me the Giants somehow found a way to win this game, but I think Minnesota will still be motivated a little bit more. So I'm going with the Vikings. The Vikings are favored by 4.
Yeah, I think the Vikings will probably win this one. I think, like you said, I think they're going to be running off that high from that great comeback. And it's just like one of those things, like you said, and they still got an outside shot at number 1 seed, even though Philly did beat them earlier in the year, so they got the tiebreaker, so it might be a little bit iffy for them. But they still they have a chance. Look, I don't trust the Giants either. I think they benefit from a couple of bad calls, so I'm gonna pick the Vikings, and so does Christine. She got the Vikings as well.
All right, next game on the docket, we'll have the New England Patriots at 7-7, perhaps on their last stand as far as playoff contention is concerned. They'll host the 10-4 Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati is a 3-point road favorite at Foxborough. As you mentioned, the Cincinnati Bengals clinched the playoff spot last night due to the loss of the New York Jets.
Excuse me. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to.
That was Bill Belichick after last Sunday night.
That's probably how you felt about that too. About that game. About that. I don't know what they'll. Look at the Jacoby Myers, some Andre Stevens are still on the team, folks. Those of you who are wondering, but after all that, but I mean, I know the Bengals, they still got shots. They still want to clinch that division, the AFC North, because Baltimore's still right there in their heels. But again, I would be surprised at Patriots because this is like, look, they really desperately need this win. But I'll pick the Bengals. They're on a roll. I think Joe Burrow's been playing very well. So, the defense has been pretty decent, especially since they led the way in that comeback against the Bucs last Sunday. I picked the Bengals, and so does Christine. Christine got the Bengals as well. Yeah, no, it's tough. This is a tough one.
It is tough because I can see New England bouncing back. I really do.
Which they
like
could.
I said, Cincinnati does have motivation still, even though they did clinch a playoff spot due to a Jets loss last night. I might regret doing this, but I'm going with the Bengals.
I mean, look, I think they're gonna want to. The Patriots are gonna try to get that taste against the Raiders. That Raiders lost out their mouth. So I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we'll see, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting. First of the 3:00 games, you got the Commanders and the 49ers, and I'm gonna get this out of the way. Commanders, I know they're gonna be smarting from that loss to the Giants, but I think the 49ers, they've had a little bit of a rest. They're getting better. So I'll pick the 49ers. I think Brock Purdy's still it's gonna be Purdy mania here. So I'm gonna pick the 49ers. I mean, the defense is playing very well. I know they're gonna I think they're gonna give Taylor Heineke fits. So I'm picking the 49ers. And also to watch that game, Austin Reeves, I forgot the kicker's name, but going to the Pro Bowl for the first time on the special teams. A really great story, especially with Reeves, losing his mother. She did the football games. A really sweet moment. So if you haven't seen that video with him and a couple other players, I know Terry McLaurin was one of those as well with Ron Rivera. That was a really sweet moment. So if you guys haven't seen that, check it out on YouTube. Also, the Commanders' social media page.
Yeah. The 49ers are favored by 6.5. Like I said, the Commanders on the outside looking in. I think this is going to be a closer game than what people expect, but I'm going with the 49ers.
And so is Christine. She also has the 40.
We agree too damn much.
I know. Christine wants it. It's coming for you too for that title. So
I know.
She's okay. This is the game of the week. You got the Eagles and the Cowboys in the NFC East. You got Gardner Minshew starting for a banged up Jalen Hurts. The banged up shoulder. We saw him suffer the injury against the Bears. So I mean, the Eagles still had a lot to play for. So the Cowboys, I'm sure they're gonna be smarter from that loss to the Jaguars. Get that taste out of their mouth too. So,
Dallas is favored by 4.5.
I think because Minshew's starting. That's probably why. Oh God, Jesus Christ. Shoot. What do you think, Sid?
Oh, you're going to put it on me first. I think the Cowboys will win the game, but I think Philadelphia is going to play a little bit better than what people expect because everybody expected them to get blown out. But I think their defense is going to show up, and I think Gardner Minshew will do just enough to get by. But Philadelphia, they just need, I believe, to win one of the next 3 games to clinch the number 1 seed. So if Dallas has a bitter taste in their mouth for losing to Philadelphia early in the season, I'm going with the Cowboys at home. Dak Prescott must cut down on those turnovers.
Yeah, that's been a big problem. We saw what happened in that game against the Jags last Sunday. I'll pick the Cowboys. But then, you know what? Watch Minshew threw for like 4 touchdowns. It's going to be Minshew mania all over again. Jeez. The Saturday night game here, remember this game will only be on the NFL Network, so make sure you guys remember that at 7:15. You got the Raiders and the Steelers, both at 6-8. Both still have an outside shot to get into the playoffs, oddly enough. So, Sid, you start this one.
I know the Raiders got lucky last week. Quietly, Pittsburgh has been on a roll as well. Kenny Pickett has been playing very well for Pittsburgh before his injuries. I know Trubisky's been in for the last couple of weeks. But I'm going with the Steelers here only because they're the home team. They're favored by 2, and they're going to ride that high off of Franco Harris being honored there since he passed away earlier this week.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think with Franco Harris's passing, I know they're gonna be honoring him at halftime. They may get a little bit of help there from beyond the grave. I think they're gonna ride that wave. I know Mike Tom will have his guys motivated because of that. So I think the Steelers are probably gonna win. And not convincingly, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting though. But Christine has the Raiders, so we'll see who's right on that one.
All right, let's go to the Christmas Day games, which is Sunday. So Fox will have the noon game. It will be the Green Bay Packers traveling to Miami to face the Dolphins. The Packers are 6-8, Dolphins 8-6. The Miami Dolphins are favored by 3.5. I'm going with the Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm picking the Dolphins too. I just think I know one of their old linemen, Eldridge Jenkins, got a nice little contract extension there, got a little bit of a pay raise. But yeah, I mean, I think the Dolphins want to get that taste from that loss to the Bills out of their mouth as well. The Packers got to win out in order to have a shot at getting to one of the playoff spots. I'll pick the Dolphins just because they're at home. If this was in Lambeau and it's going to be cold, it's going to be cold in Lambeau, like -3 or something like that at game time on Christmas Day. But yeah, it's going to be in Miami, so they're going to benefit from that. So I'm picking the Dolphins as well. And so is Christy. She got the Dolphins too. Her guy Tua.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Second game of that Christmas Day triple header. 3:30 game will be on CBS. Denver is favored by 2.5 as both teams are 4-10. The Denver Broncos will travel to Los Angeles to take on the defending Super Bowl champion Rams. We don't know if Russell Wilson's going to play or not, but if you're watching this game, good luck. You could probably use it as a nap.
Yeah, so you're going to be up early opening presents and
I think Denver's favored by 2.5.
2.5. Okay.
Damn.
Shoot. Right. Yeah, we had the same thought.
I'll let you go first this time, Lakina. Make it a pick.
Oh, okay. Yo, put it on me. I honestly don't freaking know. I don't think Russell Wilson's playing either. I did not see they're being very quiet on that. I guess because they're at home, I guess I'll pick the Rams. I might regret it later, but yeah, I'm picking the Rams. I guess because they're at home. Baker Mayfield's been playing. The Rams have been playing a little bit better especially with Mayfield now. So I'll pick the Rams. So is Christine. She has the Rams too.
I guess to make it 3 for 3 Rams. I know. In the last game of the Christmas Day triple header, this game can be seen on NBC at 7:20 on Sunday night as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will visit Arizona. Tampa Bay checks in at 6-8, still leaders of that bad trash NFC South division, while the Cardinals post a record 4-10. Of course, Kyler Murray will miss the rest of the season and perhaps the first half of next year with that torn ACL. Tampa Bay's favored by 7.5. I'm going with the Bucs.
Yeah, it looks like things are starting to kind of falling off. The flu's kind of falling off over in Arizona. I mean, I'm not gonna say. I mean, look, I know their GM is out because due to health reasons. He's probably having an adjustment for the way the teams played this year. And granted, they've had a lot of injuries too, and I get it. But yeah, it looks like this team should be a lot better than they are. I'm talking about the Cardinals. So. I'm picking the Bucs. I mean, this could be a nice little bounce back game for them, and that's what they really need. So, and I know that Bree, I know he's bummed. This is gonna be the first time he's gonna be playing on Christmas. So, with everything he's gone through. So, yeah, I think he probably gonna want to have a nice show on Christmas, especially in prime time. So, I'm gonna pick the Bucs. And so is Christine. She has the Bucs as well.
All right, and then of course the Bears and the Bills will do battle tomorrow.
Remember you forgot Chargers Colts. Remember you forgot
Chargers.
that.
Oh, that's right. Chargers Colts Monday night. Oh, let me go back to see who's favored in that one. Colts are 4-point underdogs, so the Chargers are favored by 4 points. Of course, Chargers 8-6, Colts 4-9-1. Of course, Nick Foles will get the start for Indianapolis. Why, I don't know. And of course, the Chargers are still trying to hold on to their last playoff spot in the AFC. I'm going with the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm going with the Chargers too. I'm going to keep it short and sweet for that reason. Christy, feels differently. She has the Colts. I guess her guy because her Nick Foles is starting. That's why.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the only reason why. I guess did Jeff Saturday hire her secretly to work on his staff?
Maybe, who knows? I mean, it might. I mean, look, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the reason why they pulled this out. He went this route, but. But yeah, but like I said, the Chargers really need this win to stay in pace with the AFC wild card race. So yeah, I mean, I'm picking the Chargers too. Yeah. All
right, now we can get to the Bills and the Bears. They'll do battle tomorrow, Christmas Eve on the lakefront at noon on CBS. The Bills are 11-3. The Bears are 3-11. The Bills are favored by 8 points. It's simple. I'm going with Buffalo.
Yeah, short and sweet. The Bills. I mean. Well, I would say, like I said, take the Bears in the under, but the Bills will win.
Yep. And who does Christine have?
The Bills. She got Bills.
All right.
Yeah. What she say here? Yeah, that's about. Yeah, she didn't really say anything about the Bills Bears game. Yeah, she said Buffalo and just kept it moving.
All right. And so those are our Week 16 NFL picks for Second City Sports for this week. As you're listening to Sports Zone Chicago #Football Friday edition, #Christmas edition of Second City Sports. I'm Sid. That's Lakina. We got a couple of stories before we head out and take our holiday break. I'll read the headline. You'll carry the story on from here, Lakina. Football TV strikes carriage deal with Sinclair to carry the Bally Sports regional sports networks. Of course, Bally Sports is home to, I believe, 14 NBA teams, 16 baseball teams, Major League Baseball teams, and 12 NHL teams, the hockey.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, they definitely really needed this deal because I guess especially with the TV and the streaming. So yeah, this was definitely something that the Bally Sports regional networks really needed. So being on Fubo TV, I mean, it's a really a great showing. So, and I think it's going to be an add-on, right? So I think you got to pay an extra like $11 a month, if you want to get on Fubo TV. But yeah, I think you actually have a home if you're a Bally Sports. So you got to be feeling pretty good about that. So this is a nice get because of everything that's been going on with Bally Sports and the various degrees it's being back and forth changing hands. So being on Fubo TV I think helps a lot. So they really need that.
Yep, and also going back to the NFL, they have a new home for the NFL Sunday ticket package, and the payment is going to be $2 billion per year. Ugh. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's going to be an add-on service on YouTube TV. So if you have YouTube TV, but I think from the way it stands, I don't think that's been made officially yet when it comes to that. Sid, I don't think they're gonna. Is it going to be an add-on service? Are folks who already have YouTube TV, who already subscribe to them, will they get? Will you have to pay a separate fee?
Yeah, it's going to be on YouTube TV and YouTube. Okay.
YouTube. Yeah.
I didn't want to interrupt you and continue.
No.
Yeah, it's going to be available on YouTube. YouTube TV, YouTube Premium.
Standalone for YouTube Premium. So you're gonna have to pay an extra fee if you want to get NFL Sunday ticket. They're paying about $2 billion a year, like 1.5 to $2 billion a year. So it's gonna be about $3.5 billion a year. After Apple backed out of the talks, thought they were the favorite. Amazon didn't even make a comparable offer. Disney and ESPN didn't even enter the final building, despite what earlier reports were saying, So YouTube TV was able to sweep. Google YouTube TV was able to sweep in, get it. So $2 billion base. It's gonna be interesting to see how they do this. Will you get the out of market games like you did before? Will you have to pay an extra fee for those games? Will they? It's still a lot to figure out. So this is very interesting though too. So if y'all want to pay for the extra for YouTube TV and such.
Yeah, for the NFL Sunday ticket package, you're gonna have to do that. Don't forget you have NFL.
Money, yep.
Yeah, and don't forget you have NFL Plus that offers out of market games already at $5 a month. So
yes,
and so there's competition there, and then that's for the NFL from the NFL itself. So they own all that money from the streaming services. We know that's the number one TV show in this country, the United States. Yes. So. Congratulations to YouTube TV. They're going to cash in, and this subscription service is going to go up, especially for their premium channel.
Yeah, you're going to have to get extra too for that, too as well for the NFL. If you already have YouTube TV, I think so you're gonna have to pay extra. So I don't know what the final price is gonna be, but you're gonna have to shell out some money if you already have YouTube TV. So it'll be interesting to see how many people decide to pay for it.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens in the next coming days, weeks, and months ahead. Anything else before we close up shop until next Wednesday?
You know what? Yeah, I think we covered pretty much everything. I know that all the professional soccer leagues are back. Premier League, Bundesliga, La Liga. With the World Cup being over with. I think they're back at it. This weekend. So if you guys, Boxing Day, I guess, in England, you got the Premier League games back as well. It looks like Aaron Donald's gonna be out for Sunday too in that Sunday game against Denver. So it looks like he might be done for the year. I think Aaron Donald. So because the Rams really don't have anything to play for. No, they don't. So so I think if I were Sean McVay, I would probably sit him out the rest of the year. I think. Yep.
Anything else before we close up shop? Any bowl games that you're looking forward to in college football? If there's any, I know there's a couple going on right now, but
and we'll also too. Your buddy Chase Brown has this story. This story came out within the last hour. He's decided he's going to skip that game against Mississippi State. He's skipping it, and it's declared for the NFL draft. What do you think about that news?
Kind of shocking, but excuse me, but I understood why, because he had that severe ankle injury toward the end of the season. Looked great, and that week later he came back a week later and almost had Illinois at knocking on the upset door at Michigan. So he looked good there, but yeah, I understand why he's doing it. It's going to stink for Illinois. Of course, Mississippi State was going to have something to play for because of their head coach passing away.
Mike Leach,
But he's looking out for himself. He's a smart young man, and good luck to him as far as position goes in the NFL draft. It stinks that he's not going to play in the bowl game. He's one of the main reasons why Illinois had a good year. But I understand he's protecting himself. It's a business. I'm glad these young athletes are starting to get in now. They're a commodity, so you had to protect yourself at all costs.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting though to see what the mindset is. Cause I know that the Reliant Quest Bowl, that's who they're gonna play. And look, with Mike Leach untimely passing, I think the Bulldogs and Mississippi State, they're gonna have a lot to play for. They're gonna want to play for him, or else he'll haunt them from beyond the grave. That's something that he probably would do. So I think. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of Illini fans are not very happy with this decision, but I know he's protecting himself, which is look. You see a lot of the top players do. I think Ohio State's gonna be out a couple of their top guys for their playoff game. I know Bijan Robinson for Texas, he's sitting out the bowl game too, declared for the draft. So yeah, this is becoming a big thing the last few years. So the Hawaii
get
Bowl,
used to it. It's not going to stop.
Yeah, exactly. Middle Tennessee State and San Diego State tomorrow in the Easy Post Hawaii Bowl. That's always fun. That's about it. I mean, you got the first responder bowl, Memphis and Utah State. That should be an interesting one. Ticket Smarter, Birmingham Bowl. You got Coastal Carolina, East Carolina. That should be a fun one. Our buddy Twan Staley went to East Carolina. He covers the Jets. He's an East Carolina guy, so I'm sure he's gonna be cheering hard for his for his Pirates. And the Guarantee Rate Bowl, you got Wisconsin and Oklahoma State. So that should be a fun one.
All right, so that's your schedule for college football for the bowls this week. We'll get into more of the college football playoff on our shows next week, as we will not be here on Monday because we'll observe the Christmas holiday along the rest of you good folks out there. So we'll have 2 shows next week, both next Wednesday, the 29th, and next Friday, the 28th, and next Friday, the 30th. So once again, mark this on your calendar. Second City Sports will be on next week, December 28th, and again on December 30th.
All right, with that said, you can follow me at Keenan McGee on the Twitter and at Keenan McGee on IG.
You can follow your Shirley Sydney Brown on the Twitter and the IG at CK80. Once again, at CK80, SIDKID80, SIDKID80. Make sure you download that Sports on Chicago app wherever you get your apps. Follow Sports on Chicago on all social media platforms. Subscribe to our podcast at War on Anchor. We are available on all podcast platforms, including the iHeartRadio app. And make sure you give War Media a follow at WAR Media on all social media platforms. Thank you very much in advance for your support.
Like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, which starts on Monday, if you celebrate that. To all of our good viewers and listeners out there on the Sports Zone Chicago landscape and at War Media as well. Have a great and safe and healthy holiday season. Like I said, we'll be back on Wednesday, December 28th. So we're going to take a few days off and make sure you stay warm out there because it's getting dangerously cold out there, and especially across the country. And I know some of you folks on the East Coast is getting the brunt of the storm right now. So stay safe and have a safe and healthy holiday season.
Absolutely. And also, too, this is going to be the perfect time. You're going to be stuck indoors. So why not go on Roku? If you got Roku TV and the Roku TV app, just type in Sports of Chicago on, your favorite, on your smart TV, whatever device you have, your smartphone, your laptop, PC, Chromebook, whatever you have, and catch up on shows like our show, Sean and Maya. I don't know if the Smokefels are going to be on this weekend, but what's up, cuz too. So yeah, so make sure just take this time to catch up on your favorite shows. So
yes.
Forrest said, I'm Makita. This is Second City Sports on Sports Zone Chicago. Happy holidays to all of you, and stay warm out there. Don't go outside unless you absolutely have to. And if you are going to go outside, please stay warm and such. But yeah, this is Second City Sports on Sports Zone Chicago. And happy holidays, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
Dub Bears, holla!